Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Joey. If you saw my previous video, you already know the news that Ciryl Gane will take on Derrick Lewis in the main event of UFC 265 for the interim heavyweight title, which is just absolutely crazy, mind-boggling, out of left field. Francis Ngannou is now the odd man out. I made a video about it already. I encourage you to check it out. I'll put the link in the description. But there has been more information that has come out since then. In a minute, I'm going to show you some screenshots of some exchanges that Dana White and Francis Ngannou's manager had online, which gives some interesting insight into why the UFC did this. I'm still in shock that they did this. And what makes it even crazier is the fact that apparently Francis Ngannou said, I'll fight him in September. So 1 month later, Francis Ngannou said he was ready to go. And Dana White and the UFC said, you know what? Nah, we'll move into another direction. And I said this in the previous video, but I have to say it again. It's just infuriating. If Ciryl Gane or Derrick Lewis come out of that fight, whoever wins, let's say they have injury, let's say they were rocked badly, have a medical suspension of some sort, it could be late this year, early next year, that Francis Ngannou fights him to unify these heavyweight belts. By the way, the interim belt is a fake belt. I've always said this. I haven't talked about it too much on the channel, but it's basically a number one contender belt. It really means nothing. But let's get into these exchanges between Dana White and Francis Ngannou's manager, because I think this is very interesting. And it just goes to show that, Dana White cannot handle any criticism at all without lashing out. But it's always interesting to see what's going on in the MMA world. So I figured I'd make another video, share it with you guys, give you a little bit more information on the situation. So first off, Brett Okamoto from ESPN posted like a screenshot of Francis Ngannou with like a quote from his manager. And I'll read you that quote and I'll put it on the screen here in a second. It says, "This comes as a complete shock to make an interim title so soon. If you look at the history of the division, it comes as a surprise. Francis is just now returning to the States to begin training, and he just won the title 3 months ago. We're unsure what the reasoning is behind this, but we hope to get clarity soon and figure out something with the UFC soon. At the end of the day, they're in the control of these decisions." So there's what Francis Ngannou's manager said. It comes as a complete shock. I think everybody was really shocked by this decision, but Dana White ends up commenting on this. But also, it just highlights the reasons why Francis Ngannou couldn't take this. He took a trip out to his home country of Cameroon, and he's just now returning back to the United States to train. So, how can he get a full camp in to fight Derrick Lewis when the fight's a month away? And he just wanted to fight in September. But anyway, Dana White comments on this post. And this is what Dana White says. "This dude is so full of shit. He knows exactly what's going on and isn't shocked at all. Because we told him several times this was coming. His management is incompetent, and hopefully Francis starts taking a look at new people to help his career." So Francis Ngannou's manager is absolutely attacked by Dana White. And I've learned something over the years of watching MMA, and it's not always true, but I feel like it's 75% of the time it's true. When Dana White attacks somebody's manager, usually they're doing something right. It's not always the case, but usually they're doing something right. In this case, Dana White says, "How are you shocked? We told you guys multiple times that this was going to happen." And maybe that's true. It seems like it's true, considering the follow-up from Francis Ngannou's manager. But it's just, it's still just, who would have thought Ciryl Gane, coming off of, Saturday's win against Volkov, was going to get a title shot in like a month, in a week, really. It's like literally 5 weeks away. Which isn't ideal circumstances for Ciryl Gane either. He should have a full camp to train for a title fight against Derrick Lewis as well. But let's get to Francis Ngannou's manager's response. Francis Ngannou's manager, Marquel Martin, says, "At Dana White, LOL, complete shock with your decision after we said September was good for us. Complete shock that you guys made threats after less than 3 months after you were all aware. Complete shock after you knew why Francis needed more time. That is correct. I know you're passionate, but you're trying to discredit my integrity when I've been nothing but respectful to you, Hunter, and your entire staff. Speaks more about you than it does me. I'm not even mad. I'm actually impressed that I've actually gotten your attention. Incompetent management, ? I think we've done a damn good job. I think you really don't like the fact that Francis is being represented, but by not only me, but an entire agency, one of which you can't control. Hence why you have people trying to rep him all the time to your benefit. I tell you what, let's disclose everything for the people to see. Emails, calls, texts, everything. Deal, question mark, because I'm ready to get blackballed by the UFC. I'm not defined by it. You or anyone else for that matter. How's that sound? Sincerely, your old employee, Marquel Martin. Man, that sounds like shots fired right there. This guy seems like he's ready to battle the UFC, which, who knows, he may lose. The UFC has been able to shut guys out before. There's MMA media members who aren't even allowed at the events. But he seems like he's ready to go to war. And the fact that he's ready to release everything makes this really, really interesting. I mean, I would love to see what information they have, what kind of text messages, emails they have from the UFC. And again, it seems like when a manager is getting criticized by Dana White, usually it's because the manager is doing something right by their fighter. You know, if he doesn't like the deal they're trying to get. And by the way, if you guys don't know, Hunter is the UFC's lawyer, they call him. They don't really talk about him much, but he has a big hand in the deals that some of these UFC fighters, when they're making the deals, this is the guy that sits in for the UFC and helps make some of these big deals, like a Francis Ngannou versus Derrick Lewis fight, like a Francis Ngannou versus John Jones fight. But this manager seems like he's ready to go to war for Francis Ngannou. I'm interested to see if any more details come out. I think the most startling thing is that Francis said he was ready to go in September, and the UFC was not willing to wait. It is shocking, regardless if they did tell him or not. I agree that it's shocking. Just to move on, especially when you have a guy in Francis Ngannou who's primed to be a massive UFC star. I mean, you look at him; he's a freak of nature. He has ungodly power. I just think it's a misstep by the UFC. I have no problem with the Derrick Lewis Ciryl Gane fight, but to make it for an interim title, and then also you limit the heavyweight division is shallow, and you limit the number of opponents that Francis Ngannou can fight. If you have Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane, one of those guys knocks off each other. We could have them both fight. We could have had Derrick Lewis versus Francis Ngannou in August, and then maybe late this year, early next year, we could have had Ciryl Gane versus Francis Ngannou, had Francis Ngannou beat Derrick Lewis. So I just think, it makes sense for some reasons, but at the same time, the interim title fight makes no sense. And what kind of sport are we having, if you can just throw a title out there for no reason, Imagine if, okay, this weekend, we're going to make it for the Super Bowl. No, that's not how this works. I think it delegitimizes the title a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. But I'm curious if Dana and Ngannou's manager have any more back and forth. Let me know what you guys make of this. I just wanted to share some more information about the whole situation. Make sure to like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.